International House of Rock.
I'll be.
This is like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, only better because it will have you in it.
Yeah.
We're going to build precisely this structure, and in it, we're going to memorialise tap. Rock in general, but tap specifically.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
There's only 4 people, 5 people.
Yeah, but there'll be more.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cinema Daily US. I'm Matthew Schuchman, and today we are here to talk about Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, the legacy sequel to the 1984 classic mockumentary, which holds, of course, a dear place in, I'm sure, many people's hearts, but definitely a dear place in mine. It's one of those movies that as soon as I became old enough to really know what was going on in the world, my father immediately wanted to show me and, kind of formed who I am today in a lot of ways. So it's great. Granted, I think a lot of people maybe only know the first movie and then just there's this and they don't realize that there's been a lot of comebacks here and there, but this is the full-on official technical film comeback. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the positives and the negatives because there are a fair amount of both. So to start with the positives, look, I mean, there's a certain amount of nostalgia that definitely grows in watching this just by seeing them on the screen. They don't have to say anything funny. They don't have to do anything funny. There's something about seeing them which is just kind of heartwarming in a lot of ways. So, throughout the whole movie, even when you're not a lot of laughs, you still feel like you're in a special place, kind of amongst friends in a lot of ways. And there are laughs to be had, but they are a lot more few and far between than what you may expect. Some of them may fly over some people's heads. And I'm sure that happened in the first film too, but there are a lot of jokes that you kind of have to that are very forefront, that are clear and obvious, and others you kind of have to really be paying attention to get. But there are laughs in there, and there are, of course, additions to the movie. There are some cameos that are I think have been ruined a little bit by marketing already, but I'll keep them hidden for now. But there are, you have those, you have additions to the cast, and while there are people like Carrie Gottleman who comes over to take in as Tony Hender's character's daughter, their manager's daughter. I've always loved Carrie Gottleman, and she's great in everything she does. But Chris Addison, who comes in as their new PR rep, he steals the show. The real laughs, for the most part, come from that guy. He is the kind of shining star, I would say, of the movie, and really kind of steals the thunder of everybody in the cast, including Rob Reiner himself, coming back as Marty DeBurgi. Then later on, Christopherguest, faux documentary style world, really steal the show because he's never really been a forefront at anything in the previous for them. So to see him kind of come in here and do this was great. And then, there's plenty of music, but not a lot of new music. It's mostly the stuff that you're used to, whether it was the original film or if you were there when Break Like the Wind came out and paid attention when that came out. A lot of those songs come up more so than I think a lot of the original songs. But there is the music there, but nothing fresh. But again, you still get to enjoy that. Now, as far as the negatives go, this is a stone's throw from what the original was. It's like night and day. I went in with high hopes, but I also made sure not to make myself feel that I was, subverting my own expectations in a way, or ruining my own expectations, I should say. But the film ultimately is a little bit of a letdown. And I do think that for those big cameos that come in and sing songs with them, while yes, there are very funny things that happen, and it's great to see them sing songs, the songs they sing with them, barring the end, the songs they sing with them are the more technically quote-unquote tamer songs. And I think it would have been funny to see those big names singing some of the more questionable lyrics that Spinal Tap had. To have him sing, to have one of them sing "Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You" or "Sex Farm" would have been an interesting thing. And that is the other thing too. It's like, granted, there is a history of music beyond the first film now, but some of those highlighted songs like "Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You," "Sex Farm," or "Rock and Roll Creation" feel like they're pushed to the background of this film, if not even there at all. Where it would have been interesting to see those crop up again. I was surprised not to. Where there were other songs that took a little bit more of a forefront, which again is fine. I'm not complaining about it, but it would have been interesting to see some of those come back, especially since I think songs like Tonight I'm Gonna Rock Ya and Rock and Roll Creation are two of the most, again, lyrically they are very questionable songs. And maybe that's why, especially Tonight I'm Gonna Rock Ya was kind of left out of this one, because especially in this day and age. But musically, those are probably their most accomplished, real, I'm gonna sell you singles from a real band compositions. So that was interesting. And, I think that they did play a little too much into some of the older jokes, especially when it comes to the drummer stuff. You knew it's going to be there, but the way it came out didn't feel right. And you don't have to recreate the style of documentary you had in the first film, but, and not to say I don't want Rob Reiner in there, but him being part of it more forefront and being it more of my journey discovering them again, takes away from the availability of some of the comedy. There's good, there's one great recurring joke in the fact that ghost tours come through the house that they're living in to practice in before they go out and do this new show. But in the same breath, that is like a microcosm where the rest of the film felt more of like a home video creation that was like jokes for the in family that didn't really hit as well. So ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a disappointment, and I would say if I was going to give it a final letter grade, I'm giving it a B minus, but that's really kind of slipping closer to a C plus more than anything else. But I'll go with B minus at the end of the day because I didn't really dislike it. I just felt disappointed. So thank you for joining us here. It's great to talk to you, and we'll see you next time.